Hey, shalom all. Most High in the name of Christ bless you all. Welcome to another edition of the Body of Christ Church Presents. Uh, the Body of Christ Church presents on live on Facebook, simulcasting on YouTube now, for now, until we get suspended again. Twitter, I believe Instagram, and our videos archive on all those platforms that I just met. YouTube.com/the BLCC1, BitChute.com/the BLCC, Facebook here, Twitter, Twitter.com/the BLCC, Instagram.com/the BLCC. We have a toll-free number, 888-971-2622. And an email we can be contacted at is info@theblcc.com. So what we're going to deal with today is we got a loaded class. I got a lot of videos that I want to get to concerning this topic, and it's going to be Satan and confusion. And we're going to look at how Satan is the master of manipulation, confusion, and deception, and how he conflicts issues is by bringing confusion in based on what the worldly understanding, twisting people's minds into some kind of weird, wicked, evil reality, making something simple as murder not be murder, making something simple as a blue sky being red. All these things that we deal with is based on his mastery of twisting things to go against what the Most High says. And it's not, when I say he, I mean mainly for us to understand it's a spirit we're dealing with. So before we go off into the class, what I want to do is toss it over to my brother Cameron Carr, see if he has anything to say to the people before we get started on this journey.
Shabbat shalom, Israel.
Yeah, giving all praise. Let me adjust my camera a little bit real quick. So when we look at this topic, right, what we're dealing with, right, we're looking at this topic. How things in the world get twisted, right? And mainly we're going to deal with this hot topic in the world right now centered around abortion. But we're going to take that to see how things get convoluted, conflicted, confusion, and everything added in. We're going to look at how it goes from simply being something. So now, let's look at, I'm gonna play a video right off the rip. I'm gonna play it a couple of times because I want everybody to see and understand what it is we're dealing with, right? So when you look at this, right, you deal with the question of abortion. I want people to understand what this thing has degenerated into, right? Especially for our people. And we'll cover that.
Boyfriend I was with for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I f***ed his homie and got pregnant. Boyfriend I was with for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I f***ed his homie and got pregnant. Boyfriend I was with for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I f***ed his homie and got pregnant. Boyfriend I was with for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I f***ed his homie and got pregnant.
I never dropped the mic on this show ever. You know we gotta unpack that.
Okay, but look, so
but
they
the
was
homie
both
though,
my
like,
boyfriends.
out of all the niggas in the world though, like, it's a billion niggas out here.
At least I aborted it. I killed that shit. Like, at least I killed it. Like, I killed that shit. I aborted it. I killed that shit. At least I aborted it. I killed that shit. Like, at least I killed it.
Oh.
Okay, so you saw that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you see the mindset, right? Does that look
Oh
like
my Lord.
a victim of incest or rape?
Nope.
Does that look like somebody that had physical health problems in delivering?
Nope.
Because this is what I mean about how Satan brings in confusion. And we're going to actually look at those numbers. So basically what this young female said, child of Satan said, and her supporters, because did you see the man with the mic condemning her?
Nope.
And he should have condemned her based on the word of
They
the
were
Most
having
High.
a ball. They were having a
It's
ball
like a
with
party.
it. Mhm.
So basically, they give, now unknowingly, this is the thing that happens, right? They given the main reason why abortions are performed, and we'll prove it with what statistics from Guttmacher. Guttmacher is the statistic organization that Planned Parenthood uses, and we'll go into the statistics before the show is over to show you the main reason these babies are being aborted is because, and they're telling you what it is. What did she say? Lisa, I killed that SHIT.
Yeah, that little.
I aborted it, and then her and her girlfriend slaps high five, F them kids. Let me just
Yeah.
play that again. Because a lot of people will see that and be kind of shocked or think that I'm making this up. Right? This is a lot of what we see from our people on in
Boyfriend I was with for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I f***ed his homie and got pregnant.
so the whore that she is, she so-called got a boyfriend. And she, in her own words, effed his homie and got pregnant. Right? So showing you something. There has to be an intentional act for a pregnancy to occur. In her words, effing his homeboy. Right? Without her effing his homeboy, she wouldn't have got pregnant.
I never dropped the mic on this show ever. You know we gotta unpack that,
Okay, but look, so they was both my boyfriends.
Out of all the niggas in the world, though, like, it's a billion niggas out here.
At least I aborted it. I killed
At least I avoided it. I killed it.
that shit. At least I killed it.
F them kids. F them kids. Her and her girlfriend high five. So now they're trying to tell you that abortion's got to do a whole lot with a whole lot of other things. But this is what abortion mainly has to deal with: killing kids. Period. And they'll tell you, oh, it's a fetus. What did she say? Did she say, at least I killed that fetus? At least I killed those kids? Did she say, F that fetus? No. They're telling you very candidly, they know what it is, but what does Satan do? Bring in a whole lot of conflict and confusion and words, and we're going to see a professor doing all this other stuff, talking and stuff, when it's simply murder, because what she say? At least I killed that. I killed it. High five. F them kids. Did I make that up? Or was that on social media for everybody to see?
I saw it in living color with my own eyes right now.
Exactly. So let's get some basic ground rule understanding to this, what we're dealing with. Because Satan ain't going to throw no confusion at me and you. And those that are like-minded. You know what I'm saying? He's not throwing confusion because we're going to say exactly what it is based on who? The Most High. And let's read this. Let's go to Psalms 33. Let's go there. Psalms 33. Start at verse 4, and I want you to read down because it tells you without a doubt why we need to understand this. I want you to read from 33:4 all the way down to 12, and I'm not going to interrupt you. I just want everybody to pay attention to what's being stressed and what's being said.
Absolutely. The book of Psalms, chapter 33, starting at verse 4.
I'm going to interrupt you one time. Go ahead.
Not a problem. For the word of the Lord is right.
Stop. So what's right? My thoughts, my feelings, what I identify, what's right? How I identify,
the Lord.
How I frame it in my mind, what my imagination is telling me, how I feel
the word
today,
of the Lord.
How I feel tomorrow. Is that right? No.
The word of the Lord.
The word of the Lord is right. Read that again.
Verse 4. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of goodness of the Lord. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathereth the waters of the sea together, as an heap. He layeth up the depth in storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance.
So now that's a mouthful, but let
Absolutely.
me unpack a couple of vital points. Number one,
Mhm.
verse 12, blessed is the nation whose God is
Mhm.
the Lord, and the people who he hath chosen for his own inheritance. That's not everybody. And the scriptures witness that, even though what does Satan do? Bring confusion in that understanding. The people of the
Mhm.
Lord, it's flipped to everybody because Christ came ministering to everybody. It's the whole world. He gave his son for the whole world. Now, that would be contradictory to this statement right here, right? It says, the nation he chose, which is Israel, this is who's blessed. But the reason we're on the bottom is because what? We haven't dealt with this thing right here.
Mhm.
Where's it at? Verse 8. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. The reason we're in the situation we're in, we were told the one nation he chose, we were going to be what? Thrust to the bottom if we did not obey his voice. That reverence, fear that we supposed to have for our God because he chose us, we don't have it. We're too busy doing what? I killed that ish. That's the kind of
Mhm.
stuff that we're doing and killing each other, right? The nation that he chose. So because we don't have that fear, we suffer the things that we suffer: oppression on top of oppression, degradation, murder, all kind of ill, filth, and craziness among our people, right? Because we don't have that reverence, right? But check this out, though. So it says, by the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth. So check
No.
this out. Everything that was created by the will of the Most High through his Christ, right? Just by speaking it, it was done. So you would think the one that created it all would have an understanding of the order and the run of it, correct?
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
how can you build something and not know how it's supposed to operate?
Mhm.
It's impossible, isn't it?
It is.
Like, if you're a cabinet maker, you know what the hinges are for, you know what the nails are for, you know what the hardware parts are for, and you build the cabinet for its purpose, right? It's supposed to work. Is the cabinet supposed to work like a stove or oven?
Absolutely
No.
not. It has its purpose, a cabinet.
Exactly. So when you make something and create it, you know how it's supposed to work. Matter of fact, the way you build it is you build it based on the purposes that you're building the thing and performances it's supposed to have and it's supposed to accomplish, right? So you figure if the Most High made all that exists, he should understand, including us as individuals, what order and how we're supposed to operate, work, and what he put us in position in the earth, in the creation, and what purposes he had for us, right? He should know that.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is the thing. So it goes back to what? For the word of the Lord is right. And
Right.
this is what we
Mhm.
don't want to deal with. This is how
Absolutely not.
Satan
Mhm.
gets the advantage because he twists our mind into thinking that the word of the Lord is for negotiation, up for negotiation, or it's a guide, but you can do whatever the hell you want to do, right? This is the problem that we deal with in this world, right? So it says, and all his works are done in truth, right? He loveth righteousness, so he wants us to do right based on his word. His judgment, excuse me, he loveth righteousness and judgment, so he wants us to be right based on his word. And then it says the earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. You would not know that looking at the corruption that has taken place. Why? Because it goes back to verse 8. The world has not reverenced him, right? Meaning respected him for who and what he is.
Yes.
Therefore, this is why we got all this ill in the earth. And this thing that we're going to deal with concerning, I'm laser focusing on this abortion thing because it's the hot potato. But we can take this to so-called science, where they're creating aliens in the lab, and you so busy worried about January 6th and some damn guy in moose horns saying with a damn spear with a flag on it, talking about it's a damn insurrection. They got here and spilling millions of dollars, lying their behinds off. But they're creating aliens in the lab and indoctrinating us to accept this and creating alien DNA strains to shoot up in you. They're putting crap in your food, making crickets food on the shelf, and you're worried about, oh, the racist, the white supremacists. You know why? Because your mind is not settled on understanding who is in control, who made it, and how it's supposed to operate according to him. Go ahead, Doc.
No, I was just going to say that you were just talking about the creating aliens in the lab.
Right.
Of course. Don't you see the number of people that are disappearing? Where have they gone? Where have they gone? They're in these laboratories. They're the experiments. Exactly. Yeah.
And somebody would be like, oh, that's kooky. Google it. That's all you got to do. Because they're letting this stuff out. Why? Satan's not hiding. He's like the roaring lion.
He ain't hiding.
You know?
Seeking
and anything that Satan can cause men to do to deny the power that went forth to do what we read about, meaning creating it all and his word being right. Anything this Satan can do through science, through whatever, right? Religion, philosophy, right? To go against that, he's won. And this is where we fail and understanding this is why the confusion is out there, right? So let's look at one simple thing, right? So the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. That's what Psalms 33, 4 and 5 says, right? Right? Psalms 33, 4 and 5. Go to Genesis 5. Let's read 1 and 2. Because we got to deal with this, right? Because now we're going to start bringing in some understanding, right? Genesis 5, verses 1 and 2. Now, remember, we read in Psalms 33, 4 down to 12, the Most High is supreme through Christ, right? Everything that was created and done and set up and established was done by the will of the Most High through the Christ, right? So we read that. It's very plain and simple, straightforward. Let's look at something that he's established, though, from the beginning. Read this.
The book of Genesis, chapter 5, starting at verse 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day that they were created.
So when the creation was done, like we read about in Psalms 33, right? He set everything, the host of heaven and everything that was created, right? Everything to exist, the Most High did it. And here we're looking specifically, he made male and female, correct?
Absolutely.
Right? And Adam, remember it talks about the nation he chose? At that time before the flood, Adam, it says, this is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that God created man, man in the likeness of God made him. Male and female created them and blessed them and called their name Adam. So that was the chosen people at that time, the line of Adam. Correct. So now, no different than Psalms 33, verse 12. It ended up translating to Israel, but it's still a chosen people. He knew what he was doing, and he knew the purposes of the things he created and what they were for. So now, do you see any other thing in this binary function that he created called male and female?
Nothing. Male and female created he them. That's it.
But and this
Bottom
is
line.
the thing. But now let's show
Yeah.
you what Satan does. I'm gonna show you. This is why this is the confusion that Satan deals with. Let me drop this, and I'm gonna bring another clip up. Satan's confusion. I want you to pay attention, and I want to make sure we unpack this, right? I want to listen first. Just listen.
Since you are the president of the National Women's Law Center, I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us.
The president of the National Women's Law Center. Let me say that again. The president of the Women's National Law Center is being asked a simple question.
Since you are the president of the National Women's Law Center, I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us in this committee hearing.
Well, as the president of the National Women's Law Center, you can imagine I say woman a lot in my day job.
Okay, so I'm just
and
asking for the definition.
So what I'll tell you is I am a woman. That's how I identify.
Okay,
But I wonder, however, if in part the reason that you're asking a question is that you're trying to suggest that people who
I'm
don't
simply asking
identify
the
as
question
women
and I
can't
simply
be
want an
pregnant.
answer.
And so I think it's actually really important to be very clear here that there are people who identify as non-binary. I think
Okay,
about
all right.
5% of
Okay, Cam. When the Most High made the male and female, did he give a damn about what you identify or what you feel?
No.
See, this is the
He
problem.
gave us our identification, male and female. That's the bottom line. Yeah.
See, and this is the problem.
You
Now,
have your ID.
remember, Cam, me and you a little bit long in the tooth. Up until, especially like when the COVID stuff happened, will we be looking at people talk about 99,000 genders?
Absolutely not.
There's a male and female. Whether, yeah, that's a male, but he wants to act like a female. That's a female.
Yeah.
She wants to act like a male. That's a male who's a freak, meaning he's into every damn thing. Male, female, bi, whatever. But it still was based on what? What the Most High created. So now they're trying to take perversions and make it acceptable and right, when the only thing that's right is the word of the Most High. And this is why Satan is able to come in with the confusion. Let me go back and play. Now, this is a lady, a woman that identifies as a woman, but then starts giving the but and ifs. He made them male and female, but the confusion comes in, and what is the world doing? Sucking it up like sweet honey. And then if I say, you know what, that's not right, because the Most High, oh, you homophobe, you this or that, you transphobic, right? You can never have a dialogue or conversation, and we're going to see that play out on this show too, right? So let's look at this thing. I'm going to go back all the way to the beginning and let it play.
Since you are the president of the National Women's Law Center, I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us in this committee hearing.
Well, as the president of the National Women's Law Center, you can imagine I say woman a lot in my day job.
Okay, so I'm just
and
asking for the definition.
So what I'll tell you is I am a woman. That's how I identify.
Okay,
But I wonder, however, if in part the reason that you're asking a question is that you're trying to suggest that people who
I am
don't
simply asking
identify
the
as
question
women
and I
can't
simply
be
want an
pregnant.
answer.
And so I think it's actually really important to be very clear here that there are people who identify as non-binary. I think
Okay,
about
all right.
5% of young
We're not
people
going to go
do.
there. I was hoping
who
maybe
can
you would.
be
I was
pregnant.
hoping that maybe you would say something that maybe we learned in high school biology that has to do with X and Y chromosomes, but which define male and female. But I guess we're not going to get there.
So he said something very, very, I just did something. Hold on for a second. I don't know, I just did something. Hold on for a second. Bear with me for a second. He said something really, really, he said something really, really that's profound now, right? He said, even what we learn in so-called biological science, right, agrees with the Most High, male and female, X, 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 Y, so on and so forth, biological markers, breast, penis, vagina, you know what I mean? Womb, ovaries, testicles. These are like biological markers that we learn that distinguish between the binary setup of the Most High when he said he made them male and female. But these people have done what? Have brought in this confusion of this. They call it woke, but it's satanic. It's not woke. It's nothing woke about this thing. It's satanic as hell because it goes against the Most High. And anytime you go against the Most High, it's a way to deny him and the existence of his son Christ, period. And people try to find in this world, right, that understanding and trying to be polite. But when it comes down to it, you got to shake people out of this stupor. Why? Because when Christ come back to set this thing back up, he's not going to be polite. When he comes back to establish the kingdom, it's not going to be nothing polite about it. And all this perverseness and confusion is what? Because you are indoctrinated in what? The will of the Most High? No. You indoctrinated into the will of Satan. And what is that woman in that mindset? She's a minion of Satan. She's one of Satan's angels, right? Exposed. Pretty much. That's what it is. And this is the thing that we got to really, really hone in on. The confusion, it's no confusion when you read the scriptures. Like in this issue, he made them both what? Male and female.
Male and female.
What's murder, Ak? What's murder?
Murder is murder. When you kill whoever it is that you kill.
No, it's abortion, Ak. It's a woman's choice.
Murder.
It's not murder. It's a woman's.
You just killed the baby.
What did that young girl say? At least I killed it. I F one of my boyfriend's homies, got pregnant. Yo, wow, that's crazy. Well, at least I killed it. I aborted it. At least I killed that SHIT. F them kids. That's what that woman said in the video, bro. It's all over social media. Did she look like she was embarrassed or ashamed?
Nope. Oh, she was loving it.
She was like, you know what I'm saying? It's like she was like, yo, it's
she was in her glory. In her glory.
Exactly. That's what it is. Right? So now
you know what could come?
Go ahead.
Before you even move on, because you know, I'm glad I held on to this scripture that I want to bring out.
Right.
Because you started first with the video of the girl with the abortion. And then of course we went to Psalm. Yeah, we went to Psalms 33. Right. And then when you went to Psalms 33, you also mentioned, you know, science and you mentioned religion.
Right.
And then you put the icing on the cake with this video here of this woman trying to bring up this binary stuff, right? So all of this combined together, it shows you how the people reject the knowledge of the Most High. Okay?
Good Lord.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go to the book of Hosea, chapter 4. And I'm going to jump around just a little bit. I'm going to start at Hosea chapter 4, and I'm going to read verse 1 and 2. And it says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land." By what? By swearing and lying and killing. Y'all is murdering these babies with these damn abortions, okay? And stealing and lying, because y'all lie. Y'all saying that a woman could be a man could be a woman. This is everything that goes against the Most High. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, just like the girl went and screwed her homeboy, her man's boy, okay? They break out and blood toucheth blood. I'm going to jump down to verse 6. Because when you mentioned the religion, You have a lot of these priests out here who are supporting this abortion stuff, and they run so-called churches, and they are so-called supposed to be men of the Lord. So this is what happens. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them for their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom. What is that girl doing? Committing whoredom. Okay? And shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to the Lord. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. And all of this that we're seeing and hearing out here, all of this worldly doctrine, that's all new wine. That's all it is. Okay? It's not the old wine. Okay, this is some wine that has leaven in it, you know, because the old wine that we have is this Bible right here.
Exactly.
This is not going anywhere.
No, it's not. Whatever you say. So we can see clearly the message that's given out concerning these things that come about, right? And I want people to notice a pattern, right? When you look at this transgenderism, gay pride, abortion, gender dysphoria ministry, where they preaching the good news of all these damn different genders. That's not good news. I'm just being a little facetious. But when you look at it, though, it's a pattern, though, you start to notice. It's always, and somebody mentioned it in the chat, black and brown, usually women. That's the ministers of this madness, right? We can go on the internet all day and look at it, right? And this is the thing that we have to understand. There's a term we use when we describe our females. We call them, like a lot of brothers into the scriptures, we call them Eve. And it's a good reason we call them Eve, because Eve was what? Confused by who? Satan. It's the same thing that's going on today, because Eve, our women, hasn't realized where their true power is. They're seeking some kind of power that puts them in direct conflict with the Most High. And in that, what are they doing? They're helping this Most High destroy us as men. Because the thing about it is, a lot of times they look at power, but it's a balance when the Most High made it. That's why when he looked at Adam and saw Adam was alone, he didn't have a what? Appropriate helpmeet. He said, listen, I'm going to make a woman specifically for him. For then, now it wasn't a thing of competition. It was a thing of cooperation. But what has Satan done to our women, right? And our men in that case, because they're, you know what I mean, fortifying their positions. Satan has made us think that us in a relationship, or the way we relate to each other, is about competition and not cooperation. Because the Most High in the beginning meant it to be what? Cooperation. When I say cooperation, he, like I said, didn't he create everything? So how do you create something and don't know what purpose is ascribed for, right? So he created the man and he created the woman for their purposes, for what? The cooperation and the continuance of his righteousness. That's what's missing in the understanding of this world. That's why you got a woman, and they always, you know how they use education as a what? One of the anchors for what? Evil and wickedness. And when you look at our black and brown people, what gender is usually sucked up into what? The higher ranks of education? Women, right? So that is one of the tools they use. So I'm pretty sure this woman that was the head of the Women's Law Center, she's probably very well educated, very well spoken, all that, according to this world. And the wisdom of this world, right?
Mhm.
But they use them as a tool and they don't even know that they're being used as a tool. That's what's detrimental about the whole thing, right? So now let's just go to another scripture. 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. And I got a question to ask after you read this. Just a question. The
Mhm.
whole reason that we're doing this class. I want you to read that and I want to look at it, right? Let's look at something.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints.
So my question is this, right? When you look at 1 Corinthians 14, right? I'm going to read it again just so we get it. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. Let me get it real quick.
Mhm.
It says, I'll read it again. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. So let me ask you something, Cam. When you look in the world overall, is there a lot of confusion in the world?
It's a ball of confusion.
That song, remember from the 70s? The
Yep, a
Temptations made
ball
Ball
of
of
confusion.
Confusion. I like that.
Mhm. The whole
Because
world.
if you
Mhm.
played that song, I think it was made in 1973.
In the
If you
70s,
played
early
that
70s.
song
Yep.
right
Mhm.
today, you would think that they took a time travel into like what we're living in now. Because
Yeah.
everything they're saying about the confusion is pertinent. What
It's-
that was going on then and what they were singing about is pertinent today. And that only
Yes,
comes
it
from
is.
who? Satan.
Satan.
Because if
Mhm.
God is not, according to the scriptures, the right word of the Most High, if God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, if he's the author of peace and not confusion, do we have confusion in this world?
If the people would do one thing, there wouldn't be confusion.
No,
But
no,
the
no,
people
no,
refuse.
no,
Huh?
no, no. Do we have confusion in this world? I
Of
know we
course we
do.
do. But I
Exactly.
was going to say that if the people were to do
Right.
the one thing
Mhm.
that the Most High wants us to do, there probably wouldn't be as much confusion.
Right.
But the people refuse to do one thing and one thing only, which is consider.
Right. Exactly.
2 Timothy 2 and 7,
Read it.
which says, consider what I say, not what the world says.
Right.
Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things.
Right. Exactly. Because it's not complicated based on his right words. Psalms 33 and 4. So now when you
Mhm.
look at this, right, if the Most High is not the author of confusion, where is the confusion coming from?
From Satan.
Thank you. And it's a real, so when you see things conflicting and convoluted and a bunch of words, just simply, what is a woman? If you Google, let me do it real quick. I'm going to just do it real quick on a rip and I'm going to share it, right?
Oh,
I'm
man.
going to just do it real quick. Hold
Mhm.
on, let me go here real quick. Okay. I'm going to share my screen too. Okay, let me move this out the way so I can see it. Oh, I just moved it. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let me drop this here. Okay, so I got some stuff in the Word. Now you see real quick here, right? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, can't read it because it's
I'll
a
read
small
it.
print and I
I'll
got
read
bad
it.
eyes.
I'll read it.
Blind man
Let me
can't see.
blow it up, right? Now, all this debate about the definition of a woman, right? Can you see it now?
Now I see the word woman. Yes.
Okay, so
Mhm.
what is the definition of a woman? Can you
All right,
read
you're
it?
going to have to scroll it up so that I can read the definition that they have there.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. An adult female human being.
So, this is what I mean about the confusion because this is the wisdom of their understanding, the world's understanding. It's clearly defined because this foolishness has just what started. Satan's devices has just started. So when you Google what a woman is, it's an adult female human being. Period. Notice say that? An adult female human being.
Human
the
being.
punctuation, the
Exactly.
punctuation mark after it. Period. So
Oh man.
when you're dealing with all this foolishness, I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this? What are they doing? You understand what I'm saying? What are they
Mhm.
doing? You know what they're doing? They're doing what we're bringing out. If the Most
Exactly.
High is not the author of confusion, this is satanic, because it's
Exactly.
always been noted, just like that man said, what we learn in biology, X, X, Y, Y, right? Excuse me, X, 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 Y, biological markers, strong muscle tone, more estrogen, more testosterone. It's a distinction between sex. A man doesn't have ovaries. A woman doesn't have a testicle. Right? Not one, let alone two. You understand what I'm saying? It's very simple, but the confusion is what? Satan at his what? Greatest. Because you taking things that are very simple and making them what? Diabolically evil and confusing. Why I said diabolical? Because you got people that's got spirits on them going into mutilation mills. It ain't no plastic surgery or no damn sex change hospital. They're mutilation mills, getting parts chopped on, taking parts and cutting stuff. Like the article I read about the girl that wanted to be a man, she got like just this big giant scar on her thigh where they cut a bunch of fatty meat out of her thigh to make her a penis. The Most High did that from what? His creation. When he assigns them both male and female. No
Exactly.
man can do anything to change that. That's where the problem comes in. That's where the confusion comes. Well, I had a woman that came to visit me one time that was actually upset and crying with me because I said, I don't know what to say about somebody and their feelings, but this is what the Most High has made, and even nature. Let's just not deal with the Most High. Let's deal with nature. There's, like you say, a positive and a negative.
Mm-hmm.
You got a plug, you got a male part of the plug, and you got a female part of the plug.
Male part.
It's binary.
Exactly.
It's not two-spirit plug. It's not a pansexual plug. It's a plug with a male and a female for it to work properly. That's what it is. It's as basic can be, but the confusion comes in. Why? Because these are what? Spirits, and they are satanic thoughts and things that's being brought into the what? Ether. That's it. And that's what we have to understand. What's the problem? Go to Jeremiah 17:9. This is how Satan gets us. This is the problem. This is the problem. And we're gonna look at this thing. And I got some beautiful videos. And see, we're gonna see a demon on display for the whole wide world. And hopefully the sister repents, but we're gonna see a demon on display. A lot of people don't know it's a demon because you think Hollywood has tricked you into thinking a demon is like, it's smoke going up their nose and their eyes turning black. No, my friend. No, my friend. You're going to see a demon on full display. So get Jeremiah 17:9.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9.
Okay.
The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
So when you look at it, right, what is the heart is talking about? Is it talking about the thing in your chest? No, you're right. You pointing to your head.
The mind.
So people that does not seeing is talking about your mind. That's the heart. That's what matters in the realm of the Most High, because within the mind, you possess a conscience, right? You possess the ability to think, reason, and make choices. This is what it is. So what we do and how we end up on the wrong side is because we readily make a choice with our minds to deal with the corruption and the filth that's in this world. And this is how we get confused by Satan, because we think that, like Eve did in the garden, that we have some providence over this creation and what he meant for us to be and how to act and how to be and behave, right? But the corruption is that we think we got the providences. That's where the corruption, and then we come up with things and we deal with things in the way that what is not right, and we get spirits on us and we become demonic. We become Satan's minions. Why? Because he's bringing confusion. He's not the author of confusion. 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. So if God is not the author of confusion, right, Satan is. God is the author of peace. If you have no peace, guess what? Satan is there, because this is just what it is. So now let's look at an example of how you go into demonic, evil spirits and foolishness based on this world when you don't control and understand that your thoughts are what? Not the Most High's thoughts, and you're desperately evil when you're going into your thoughts, because that's what Jeremiah 17 and 9 is showing us. Now let's go to a clip. I want people to, because I was kind of marveling at this thing, right? I was marveling at this whole thing, and it's dealing with the abortion question. So we can see how this thing with the woman comes in, right? But it's prevalent to this line of questioning, right? And then we're going to see how a demon behaves, right, to bring confusion. Okay? So I want everybody to pay attention. I'll be stopping it and going it and commentating. I do that so we don't get knocked off of YouTube and Facebook, right? Because that's what you have to do. You have to pause and stop and commentate. Okay? So I'll be doing that, but everybody should be able to get that. I want people to listen to this.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Before I want to visit with you, Ms. Meskey, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy.
People, now, this person, I don't want to misgender her. Oh, I just did. I said her. This individual is very, very educated. And let me explain something to people about this education. If you don't temper that with the wisdom of the Most High, you become ones that has accepted the total indoctrination of this world, and you become a minion of Satan. That's what this woman is. With all her accolades and degrees and this and that, I want you to listen to her reasoning. Now, according to the scriptures, bro, is it a person with the capacity of pregnancy, or is it a woman?
A woman. Only a woman can bear child.
Well, you know why I know they have a problem saying that? Because they don't know what a woman is, even though they are a woman, right? This is how much confusion this is. But let's go back. I want you to listen to this question.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Before I want to visit with you, Ms. Meskey, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue. It's
We can recognize that this impacts women while also.
Look at the eyes. She's a demon.
Absolutely.
She's consumed with demons. When you listen to her speech and the confusion coming out, and the brother put it there in the chat again, once again, Eve, but she's bugged out of her mind, just as bugged out as her eyes is. And this is the thing. I pray, because we're going to deal with the remedy. There's a solution to her issue, but she's got to be willing to take it. She's got to be willing to understand that this knowledge that she's dealing with from college is garbage, and that the supreme knowledge comes from the one that created it all, and his will
Exactly.
has to be dealt with and done, right? So let me go back, because she's got a lot of rhetoric. She ain't gonna answer
Cis
the
women
question
have
either.
the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue. It's a.
We
it's
can
a what?
recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Look, guys,
So your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is.
so now he asked a simple question, right? Now, this is the thing that a lot of our women have mastered, right? Especially the ones that's not dealing right. He asked a simple question. What did she do in her reality, in her wicked, evil mind? She flipped the
Twisted it.
question
Mhm.
to something else.
Mhm.
And now
Twisted it.
he's the evil enemy attacker, and he's assaulting her. Not only is he assaulting her, listen to what she says he's doing.
Right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide.
What the hell does that have to do with whether or not this
That
is a
wasn't the
woman's
question.
issue,
Mhm.
right? You see, she flipped it because she's a demon.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
how you bring the confusion, right? You
Mhm.
turn the question, simple question, on its side. What is a woman? Well, I don't know. It's different genders. I can't answer that. The Supreme Court Justice, Harvard graduate, said I'm not a biologist. Well, I wonder is the person a biologist that put a definition of a woman in the dictionary that we just looked at? A human female adult, right? I wonder is that a biologist that wrote that? See, this is where the confusion comes, and they are what minions. Our people, we got to understand. People like this are our enemy because they
Absolutely.
go against everything that we supposed to be about. The sanctity of life, the will of the Most High, all those things is what, just because they look like you, don't mean they're your friends and they're for you. This woman has accepted full head on the indoctrination of Satan. And this is why she's talking about cisgender and trans men, and this one has the capacity for pregnancy, and this one. The Most High said when he created them in the day he created them, he made them male and female. No man has did anything to alter that. Only in the minds of what? The ones that refuse to accept the will of the Most High as our God, and the one that made it all, set it all, created it all, and said what all things, purposes are and what they are, right? This is what the problem is. So she got all these degrees and all this education, and my father, he's probably like, wants to jump out of his grave and slap the hell out of me because all the things he told me that I just looked at him like he was crazy. You know what my father used to tell me when I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s? Get your schooling, go to school, but beware. Don't deal with educated fools and don't become one.
Mm.
You mark whatever they mark you, what you mark on that paper. It's a different world now. They don't really respect people that can just work with their hands and get paid an honest wage. They got all this foolishness that you go to their colleges and get all this foolish knowledge to make your money. So guess what? You go to college to make your money, but understand what is real. God is real, right? We didn't come from apes. We this. He used to lay that out when I was a young person. But he used to always say, do not deal with educated fools, trust them, respect them, and do not become one. This, when I saw this, I was like, this is what my father was warning me about. She's an educated fool. Let's keep playing it.
So I think it's important.
Because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying.
That's the key. You can't talk about it. Why? Because they can't answer simple questions. That's why. So they're going to switch and twist things to make it be what they want it to be. and then call you a transphobe, homophobe, this and that, you're a hater, hate speech, we're going to get them banned off of you, so let's cancel them out. Let's get rid of Dave Chappelle because he made a joke about gay people. Now they're going after my man. They're going after Mayweather because he wouldn't take a picture with a dude with painted fingernails, right? They went after Genuine because he wouldn't kiss a transgender man, a man claiming to be a woman, as they say transgender, right? This is what they do, and this is nothing but Satan in his perfect form.
I was so down, I was drowning. I ain't know I had a purpose. Looking for you, I was searching for you, and I'm learning. Yeah, yeah. I was haunted by the serpent. Had to keep my soul close, cause the Most High is who I'm serving. Yeah, yeah. I was so down, I was drowning. I ain't know I had a purpose. Looking for you, I was searching for you, and I'm learning. Yeah, yeah. I was haunted by the serpent. Had to keep my soul close, cause the Most High is who I'm serving, yeah, yeah. I was so down, I was drowning. I used to look down in my heart and be drowning. And you know that this water is dark, need to escape, the pressure is hurting, yeah. Deeper I go, stuck in my woes. The sin is the struggle, I'm fighting it though. The pressure inside is cooking my mind. I need to repent, I'm hurting inside, yeah. Every day we go and fight, vigilant till the day that we die. Cause we ain't giving up alive, we just go harder for Christ. Daily battle, daily bread, gotta go eat, gotta stay fed. It ain't no game when the evil try and tread. Watch my back, my brody look ahead. So we defending the truth. If it come down to death, then we dying for you, Lord. So we stay patient, giving them praises all the way up to you, Lord. And the Most High come first, gotta build faith or end up in a hearse. Looking for living waters, searching for living water. I was so down, I was drowning. I ain't know I had a purpose. Looking for you, I was searching for you, and I'm learning, yeah, yeah. I was haunted by the serpent. Had to keep my soul close, cause the Most High is who I'm serving, yeah, yeah. I was so down, I was drowning. I ain't know I had a purpose. Looking for you, I was searching for you.